Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Jade Alberts, and I hope you're having an excellent Wednesday. I'm a business strategist that focuses on rejuvenating and re-energizing small businesses. My motto is telling it like it is, and I love to talk marketing and any other strategy. Today's topic is vacations. Who doesn't love vacations? And Tara Shaw is my guest from Resfeber Travels. Tara, thank you for joining me, and how are you today?
I'm doing great. Hope everyone's well.
Well, thanks. So Tara and I go way back. We grew up together in rural Saskatchewan, and she started this business. And I figured, Tara's always been a big traveler, so I guess this is a perfect fit for you with your new company.
Yeah, no, I'm loving it. I just started it up over about a year ago. I've always had a passion for travel, and it gives me great flexibility. I have a family, so I'm able to kind of focus on my kids, but still be able to do things I love to do.
On work-life balance, nothing beats that, correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
So I'll give a little intro here for Tara, and then we'll get her going. Tara has owned Resfeber Travels for about just over the last year, she said, and she has planned over 50 trips. After traveling extensively and planning trips for others, she saw an opportunity to start a travel company. With so much information on the internet, Tara saw the need for people to use travel companies when planning vacations to filter through all the useless information. Tara also brings her personal touch into planning trips that the search engines do not provide. We have limited vacation time, so companies like Tara's will make sure it is the most memorable and making sure you pick the right vacation. Lastly, Resfeber provides personal contact if anything arises while you're on vacation that sometimes people take for granted. Tara has traveled to over 25 countries and has a long list of bucket list countries to visit. Her passion, and she brings that to every single trip she plans. And that's impressive. I mean, I haven't been to 25 countries, so that's, I don't think most people have. So even to do that is off the charts. So I guess to start off, why is it important for people to take vacations?
There's a couple of reasons. I think we talked about the work-life balance. I think that's really important. We live very, very busy lives, and we need to actually take time for ourselves, take time with our loved ones, if it's our spouse, if it's our kids, it's our family. I find even personally, it's probably one or two times a week that we actually sit down and have dinner together. Because you're running to this sport and running to that sport and, have this meeting. So I find, personally, when we go on vacation as a family, we're able actually to sit down and have a dinner and have some great conversations with the kids that we wouldn't be able to have, when we're in Calgary. So that's why the number one important reason why I think everyone needs to go on vacation. The second thing is I think travel is the best education, especially for our kids. I do focus a lot on planning trips for families. And I think there's no other way to teach your kids important things. I actually just read an article this morning about how kids learn about being flexible, about being patient, plane's late or a plane, they have to kind of relax and be patient about it. Being able to sit at a restaurant and wait for their meal. All those kind of things are super important for kids to learn. And sometimes you don't learn that just kind of in everyday life. The other thing is, this is kind of like extravagant travel, but being able to take your kids to, like, for example, Paris, going to see the Louvre or the Eiffel Tower, like those things you can't teach in school, right? So I always say you collect moments, not things. That's kind of one of my big mottos in my business is doing that. And I think kids learn that like some of these materialistic things, let's say for trips and vacations instead of, toys or things.
Oh, no, I agree. I mean, I love that statement where it's an education as you travel. I know we take our kids and try and take our kids to quite a few places, and especially around Canada. Yeah, we do have that Sunday supper every week, but the time that we get to spend with them when we are traveling is priceless. And I absolutely love that statement because, yeah, they don't learn anything like that in school. They can see pictures or they can Google it or do a report on it, but nothing beats actually being there and seeing the history of the world. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I guess are there any trends that you're seeing in travel? Are people saying, "Oh, I want to stay home a little more," the staycation type vacation? So what are the trends right now?
Yeah. So I am starting to see a lot more staycations, even with the US dollar, strengthening. I'm starting to see people stay in Canada more, starting to do a lot more outdoor type of trips and doing road trips. We're actually planning like a real cool road trip, just kind of like south of the border, that we're going to drive, which makes it, more affordable, I guess.
Yeah.
As well as I think what we're also seeing in our industry is people are planning more. There used to be those last minute deals that you used to get on the internet and everyone's like, oh, I got this vacation for this. We're not seeing that anymore. The best deals I'm seeing sometimes are 9 to 12 months out. So especially Christmas time and spring, I know. So when I started the business and people would start coming to me and saying, okay, I want to plan a trip for next year, I'd be like, you're crazy. Why are you planning a trip for next year? I'm just thinking about the next 3 months. But as being in the business in the last year, the best deals are actually a year out. So even as a family, I actually sat down my family on Sunday and I'm like, okay, we need to plan our vacations for the next year to 2 years. And then also you can budget that way, right? You budget on, if it's a staycation this time, or if it's a quick road trip out to Canmore, and then you can do those bigger trips every year. So it also helps me in my business if my clients do that, kind of have a mindset and a strategy on what they're doing for their vacation planning. So I'm kind of seeing that. I'm also seeing, especially in Calgary, I'm seeing a lot more active travel and adventure travel. So I'm actually planning a really cool trip for a family out in France and doing a bike trip for a week. So I'm seeing a lot of that. I'm seeing like hiking trips for families. So people are wanting more active and more kind of authentic and local trips. So also what I'm seeing is more unique experiences. So like staying in a treehouse or, staying or glamping, or, that glamping word of staying in kind of a more luxurious campsite. So different things like that, like houseboats. And so people are wanting that. People are wanting to have more, go to countries and learn more about the culture and learn a different language and learn all that kind of stuff. So, I think people are still going to Hawaii and Mexico and those kind of things, but they're also searching out kind of those unique experiences beyond that. And then the last thing I'd like to, I think I'm seeing as well is in my business, people are starting to use travel agents more. I think when the internet came out, people were, there was a lot of information. It was great, but now there's so much information. And the thing I get back from my clients all the time is like, I don't even know where to start. There's just so much information out there. Where do I go? So from our experience, like I planned so many trips, I've been places, I can kind of lead my clients in the right direction saying, this is the best place to stay in this city. These are the places you need to go. And these are the things you need to do on this budget. So I'm kind of starting to see travel agents being used a lot more. And what people don't realize is we get paid by the airlines and hotels. So there's no extra cost to our clients, which people actually don't realize.
Well, I mean, I can speak from experience. We used you when we took our, 2-week trip and cruise, and you did everything. And I mean, I'll tell you, that was probably the best pre-vacation I ever had, because I didn't have to do any of that stuff. And it's, as you said, you're just overwhelmed, and all of a sudden you're looking for hotels and family-friendly hotels, and you're trying to do Expedia and all these other sites. And, when you sent us our itinerary and everything was booked, I said, I was just, it was awesome. It was priceless, and all the hotels we stayed at were excellent. So, I mean, I can vouch from that. So obviously with me, that kind of spins into my next question for you is like, I mean, how can you make our listeners' vacation plannings a little easier and a little more friendly? I know you've kind of touched on it, but maybe explain that a little more.
Yeah. So usually what I try to do is I meet with my client and we sit down and we kind of discuss budget, because everyone has a budget and we can plan trips on any budget. So we sit down on a budget. It was so funny. I was talking with a client yesterday, and it's kind of like a matchmaking type of game. So you kind of ask all these questions on where you want to go, what's your budget, like what are your bucket list items? And then I kind of take all that information from my experience, from my research, and then I come back with kind of a recommendation on a vacation. So it works really well. It takes the stress out of planning, because a lot of people don't even know where to start. We also get access to a lot of rates and prices that, normal clients wouldn't. So we provide that as well. So that's another thing that we kind of provide. And, all the feedback I've got from clients is, like you said, it's, a lot stress-free. It's a lot less planning on my part, though even I enjoy when clients actually partake in the planning and, kind of do some research as well. So it's kind of like a win-win for both of us, right? Oh,
absolutely. Absolutely. I guess I did have another question, but you really did answer it. Especially when it comes back to what people's feedback are, I even gave my feedback. So I guess if you're going to plan a perfect vacation, or you've been to 25 countries, why don't you share some of your experiences with our listeners? Because a lot of people are like, maybe I shouldn't go there, or maybe I go to Costa Rica, or maybe I should go to Singapore. I'm not sure. Like, just share something. Make it fun, make it exciting. That's kind of what people are always looking for. Let's talk about some of the places you visited and some of your favorite spots.
Yeah, I think the best mix for me as a traveler and with my family is I like a little bit of everything. So, I like the adventure. So I'll give you an example of my Nicaragua trip last year, because I think is a really good mix. Is we went and stayed in this tree house, which was incredible. It didn't have walls. It just had screens. So you could hear all the monkeys and the birds, and we were kind of on a hill over top of the ocean. So it was beautiful. And very unique experience, right? And our kids have never really experienced something like that. So we did that for part of our trip. Then we went to a house and did a VRBO for the next part, which I love as well, because we went down to the local fishmonger. We bought fish, and we went to local, all the farmers markets, got local vegetables. So you kind of you cook the authentic stuff you would, right? Yeah. And then we went to a resort at the end and kind of experienced kind of the resort life, right? That's always nice to kind of end the vacation. But I kind of like that mix, that you get a bit of adventure, a bit of kind of experience the local stuff, and then kind of the relaxed time to come home and feel that you've been refreshed and relaxed and come back to work and our craziness in life.
Do you find people that are a little more relaxed, or that use a like Resfeber Travels and yourself? Is that just in my experience, whereas I didn't have the stress before and I didn't have to worry about anything? Do you find people
I think people are less stressed. They don't have to worry about, the planning ahead of time, but also when you're on vacation, like we said before, you always have me to contact if something goes wrong and that kind of stuff. So people don't really need to think about it. And, what travel agents do is think about all the moving pieces in between too. It's not just about the hotel and the flight. It's about okay, how are you going to get from point A to point B? Okay, what are you going to do from, when you leave the cruise, where do you go next? That kind of thing, right? So we kind of try and think of all those moving parts, which sometimes you don't think about, and you get there and you're like, oh goodness, what do we do, right?
Oh, no, absolutely. And one thing I really do want to point out to our listeners here as well is that you have an awesome Instagram account. You have huge followers. You post a lot. It's Resfeber Travels Company. Check it out. Follow it. Tara posts. If you go out there, she shares your experiences. She shares her experiences. She shared our experiences when we, and it's so fun to, go on your Instagram and see other people's vacation or even your vacations and oh my goodness, that's pretty cool. I would like to go there. When you get that point of view from my iPhone and not some photo on the internet that could be photoshopped or made to look really pretty, where I love that part of your social media. It's excellent.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I try to post as much as I can and try not to overpost, but I think it's important to kind of show what other clients are doing, because it gives you ideas and going, oh, I never thought about doing that, or here, here's a place in Paris I would go, that type of stuff, right? So I love to do it. It's awesome. And yeah, any feedback, please let me know.
Well, that is great. I appreciate you coming on and sharing your work-life balance vacation stories with us, because it's something that, all the interviews that I do are very, kind of work orientated, and, I stress a work-life balance, and that's how I help some of these small businesses when, the owner has, 5 or 6 employees and he's wearing 7 hats and he doesn't have a chance to get away from, for a vacation, or he takes a little vacation because he feels he can't get away. So, getting away is so important for your mind, for your body, for your spirit, for your energy. So I really appreciate you coming on and sharing that with us.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. Life is too short. And like I said, you need to collect moments, not things.
Great point. Great point. And we'll end it on that. So thank you, Tara, again. My name is Jade Alberts. I'm a workplace businest strategist here in Calgary, Alberta, that focuses on rejuvenating and re-energizing your business. So next week, we have an excellent best-selling author and TEDx speaker. So watch out for Eric Tara Monday. And until then, we'll have a great week. And Tara, thank you again. Bye-bye.